Welcome to Godly Dragon Reviews and Apologetics. I realize I've never shown my actual face on my channel before, so I decided to show my face now because why not? It's been a year and better late than never. So today I wanted to discuss the popular Christian movie God's Not Dead, and by doing so, I am also going to discuss Christian movies in general. This is not going to be an easy video to upload because I know that there are a lot of Christians that really like this movie. This isn't the first mainstream Christian movie. Before this movie came out, there were some other mainstream Christian films that were already out that lots of people like, including unbelievers. Movies like Facing the Giants, The Prince of Egypt, The Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur, The Robe, and many others have been around before God's Not Dead. But for some reason, when the company behind God's Not Dead, known as PureFlix, released God's Not Dead in theaters, it was apparently the breakout hit that opened the way for even more mainstream Christian films. So why is God's Not Dead such a popular movie among mainstream American Christians? I don't want to say it's a malicious film. I think that this film meant well. It was a movie that tried to encourage Christians to be strong in their faith and stand up to people that want to tell them that God is dead. But to be completely honest, there are problems with this film, and I really don't think Hollywood and Christianity mix well. I guess you could argue that PureFlix is an independent company and therefore they aren't associated with Hollywood, but movies just aren't the best medium to make evangelical films in. The problem with God's Not Dead is that it really compromised in its apologetics. You would expect a Christian film to be completely different from secular Hollywood films. Movies like Godzilla and Jurassic Park have an evolutionary worldview. And I do love the Jurassic Park films for their stories and characters and fun action sequences, but the philosophies obviously aren't part of a Christian worldview. Therefore, you'd expect a Christian movie to teach younger Christianism, right? Not in the case of God's Not Dead. What God's Not Dead did in its apologetics is that it used the Big Bang and millions of years of evolution as its basis for proving the existence of God. And this can have bad results. I mean, I guess it could work. It could lead an atheist to believe in God. But then they end up in a mindset where they think it's okay to believe in the Big Bang and evolution while also following Christ and believe in the Bible. So this method of using evolution to prove God to atheists has some bad results. The apologetics were just shallow. But you know what? That's not the only shallow thing in this movie. Sorry. I thought that all the characters in this movie were shallow too. In this movie, the Christians are the goody two-shoes good guys that can do no wrong, and all the unbelievers in this movie are the evil ones that hate anything to do with God. I mean, I guess I can see what they were trying to go for. If you're an unbeliever, then you're against Christ by default. But these are still stereotypes. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm a perfect goody two-shoes. I still sin and I still make mistakes because of my sin nature. And although unbelievers aren't against Christ by default, not every unbeliever is like the way unbelievers are portrayed in God's Not Dead. Sure, some of them are. I have seen that. But some of them are actually very nice people that just have personal doubts and questions and just don't understand. As Jesus said on the cross, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." So we should be doing our best to treat unbelievers with compassion and tell them about the gospel in hopes that they will understand it and repent. I mean, it's easy for me to have compassion for unbelievers because I used to be an unbeliever too and I can sympathize with them. But I know that's not easy for everybody. If you want to evangelize, you gotta treat people with compassion instead of demonizing them in the Christian movies that you make. I think that Christian movies need to teach the gospel truth, and nothing but the truth, while at the same time, be appealing to both Christians and unbelievers alike. Christian films have the potential to do that. There are good Christian films with good intentions, such as Kendrick Brothers movies like Facing the Giants and War Room, the old Bible movies like The Ten Commandments and Ben-Hur, and even modern Christian films such as Do You Believe, I'm Not Ashamed, and The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. I feel like Do You Believe was a big step up for PureFlix. They were heading in the right direction. But then they took a step backwards when they made God's Not Dead 2. God's Not Dead 2 did have better apologetics and didn't compromise as much, but it retained the same stereotypes and unrealistic scenarios that were in the first movie. Thankfully, they were able to pick back up again with I'm Not Ashamed, which I thought was an amazing film too. So, in conclusion, I want everyone to be careful with these Hollywood Christian films. Just because a movie is labeled Christian doesn't automatically make it pure. You still gotta use discernment when watching these Christian films, just as you would use discernment when watching any other movie. So, if you like the movie God's Not Dead, then by all means take my opinion with a grain of salt if you want. If you disagree with me and have additional thoughts or refutations on anything I may have forgot, please put them in the comments below. God bless everyone. Godly Dragon Reviews and Apologetics is a branch of Godly Dragon Ministries.